Okay, I would just want to welcome you to brand new GOSPOCAST for this week. We are still continuing on the image, and this week we are taking it to a higher level because it's getting more and more interesting than last week. GOSPOCAST continues right after this. Okay, let's get it on started for today. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the image, the spirit behind the imagination. And now as we go on, I want you to understand, imagination rules this physical world. I don't know how to put it so you understand it. You cannot say it doesn't concern me, imagination doesn't concern me. It rules this physical world. You and I are product of imagination. And we saw this in book of Genesis chapter 1. We were wondering why it was recorded 6 times when God said, and when the Bible said, and God saw that what He created was good. But we came to the creation of man in book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, and we saw when there was a powerful imaginary session between the Trinity, and then the Godhead raised this case of let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and then they started storming through this session, and we started seeing the thing that this image will be like, and the processes and the sequences added to this image, like let them have dominion, let them be fruitful, multiply, have dominion, and it was just like that. And God created man and blessed man. So now watch this now. And after God created man and blessed man, and He said it was good at Genesis 1:31. Now we went back and discovered that every other thing that was created also was a product of imagination in the mind of God. And when God imagined it, it now channeled into His voice, because His voice is power. And then He spoke and it came to pass, because He is that powerful to make anything happen. So now we moved on further to Genesis chapter 3 last week, and we saw that the enemy just didn't come to Eve to just tempt Eve. He came and sold a different image to Eve. He sold an image in his mind, because the devil also understood that human beings are products of imagination and are meant to function with imagination, because God intended that we also duplicate His likeness of creating things, and it cannot happen without imagination. Now check it, and many years back, many decades back or centuries back, most of the things that we are enjoying right now, we are the wide imagination of the few elite scientists, people in the society that had different kind of thinking from every other person. They saw and imagined in their heart that the day will come when people will fly, the day will come when machines could do things to people, and it is happening now, because it all starts with imagination. So now look this now, when the devil came to Eve, what he did was to sell an image, to just bombard her mind with this image and just keep throwing it until the Bible recorded in book of Genesis chapter 3 the same words that were used for God. And when Eve saw that the fruit was good, in other words, he received approval, so she gave approval. Now watch that now, because when God says, Bible recorded that God saw it was good, it was an approval to what God has already had in mind that has now been established. So when Eve gave approval, she gave in to this temptation, to this picture in her mind, and that is still what the devil is using now. And that's why we say there are 2 spirits behind imagination: the Spirit of God, which is the right way we should channel our imagination, but this day the devil is all out, because he tried it in the garden and it worked, and he's getting so sophisticated right now, controlling the world with imagination, setting up imagination thoughts, high thoughts that controls not just persons but group of persons and nations and continents. He just sets an image, and it becomes, sometimes it just permeates into the society, and everybody's just buying it and acting it out, because it's imagination. And once it's thrown in your mind and you give it the approval, you've given in. You're going to act out all the sequences or series attached to that image. Like when God said, let us make man in our image, He added, let him be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth, and have dominion. So when also the devil is selling you an image, there are other things attached to it that when you take it, you act out the remaining part of the imaginary tool or picture that the devil has put down with that image. So you got to be careful. You got to hide the word of God in your heart. You got to be able to reject whatever that God have not said that comes into your imagination, because these thousands of thoughts, scientists told us there are over 25,000 thoughts that flies in your mind. And when you know that a thought has several imaginary objects, then it means there could be over 100,000 of them in your mind. But what you do is that you accept, you reject, because the devil keep throwing this thing, looking for just an approval, and once you approve it, he can go to work, and then make sure that you just keep following the script until you get yourself to a place you're not supposed to be. And that what God is also asking us to do, to meditate on his word, to think on his word, and we have good success, to imagine the beauty of his glorious power and faithfulness. And that is the true spirit, the spirit of God, the spirit of the of Satan. And you remember Jesus called Satan the god of this age because he's bombarded this earth so much with tools, with things coming out from the pit of hell and spreading around our society. You see the aggressive nature of hate and intolerance, and people being so bad and doing strange things in our world. But God is calling us to meditate, to think on godly things, and then if we approve it in our heart, then we act it out. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.